Okay, well, I believe we can get started. So once again, if you're just arriving, I'm hosting today. My name is Angela Potts-Mang'andah. I am part of the Power of Love Ministry staff, and I've been in the ministry as a participant staff member for over a decade. So happy to say that now. That feels really awesome. And very happy to be stepping in for Jennifer today so she can.
That's how she belongs to the meeting.
That's how I belong. Thank you. Justine loves to be at Sundays with Spirit because she loves the music. So she always asks.
I love church.
She loves church. Great. But Jennifer's having an opportunity to be with her family this weekend. I'm so excited to be able to fill in and support her in doing that. So we're tuning in from Rhode Island, and yeah. So we're excited. So we're going to call in first Lisa Johnson. And just as a little note, I am the pilot and the host and the, what would you call it? The nap putter downer, which will happen naturally. So that's happening, but we've done it before, so we can do it. And hi, Alice. So if I ever am delayed a bit, it's just because I have a couple things to juggle, but we'll do it with ease and grace. So first we'll get started with a prayer, and Lisa Johnson's here to be our prayer volunteer. Oh, someone's helping me. Okay. Lisa Johnson is a longtime member of Masterful Living program, and she is the prayer. So we're so grateful you're here, Lisa, to start us off with a prayer. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Angela and Justine. Nice to see you both. So let's take a breath of love and gratitude and place our hand on our heart. We're so grateful for this opportunity to join together for Sundays with Spirit. We're thankful that Angela is our host and pilot today, watching over all the bells and whistles of Sundays with Spirit and keeping things moving in a graceful way. We're grateful for Beth Nyerick for being our speaker today. We're thankful to hear and receive all of her messages from Spirit, opening our minds and hearts to the voice of Spirit. And we're also thankful for Lisa Richards' music today. So grateful to have her beautiful music inspiring each and every one of us. And we share all the benefits of the healing in today's service with everyone, knowing that we're one with them. We let it be, so it is. Amen. Amen. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you so much. Okay, so now that we're in our heart, we're so grateful that we get to introduce Lisa. So I'm going to bring you on, Lisa, and I'm going to just give a little background about who you are. I'm very excited to meet you for the first time today. So Lisa Richards, with a voice described as ferocious and sweet. I love that. Lisa writes songs of longing, loss, love, and hope, borrowing from the traditions of folk, blues, and jazz while carving out her own musical corner of the world. Her music is driven by a desire to be visible, to understand the world, the human condition, and to share what she sees with others. Lisa says the world is a cornucopia of stories waiting to be told, the personal and the universal, the visible and the invisible. That's what humans have always done, collected and told stories. Lisa's songs have appeared on compilations, sharing the track list with heavyweights including Adele, Nina Simone, and Corinne Bailey Rae. Okay, sorry. And Lisa, it's just not showing, just launched her 8th album in November of last year, Waiting to Fly. So very excited to hear your voice, Lisa, and I loved your bio. So beautiful. Yeah,
Thank
so
you.
take it away.
There might be
a little bit of New York street noise behind me, so. There is a world where everyone is well. Food is on the table. Every hand that reaches out is kind. And everywhere we go, we're safe and sound. And comfort isn't measured by how much money you got. Privilege ain't something that you have or you do not. And I don't know where it is, but I wanna live there. And who got the key to the lock to the world where this is happening? No, where is this happening? There is a time for everything, and everything must have its time. And we are soldiers in the war that's only fought in our own minds. No one here is safe and sound. That little number on the screen doesn't tell me what I'm worth. It doesn't tell me who I am. So you don't pay me for the songs I sing, well, I don't care. I'm gonna sing them anyway. 'Cause only the love that I have given and the love that I receive can give me shelter from the storm that's coming through. I can't escape the rain, I may be wet, but I'll be happy. See, I don't know where it is, this world I wanna live in. But who got the key to the lock to the world? Who got the key to the lock to the world? You got the key to the lock to the world. But this is happening. Ooh, come on now. Come on now. Come on now.
Gorgeous. Thank you so much, Lisa. I get the ferocious and sweet so clearly now. Thank you. Beautiful. Thank you for starting us off. Okay. Great start. So excited to bring Beth onto this Zoom stage with me. Thank you, Beth, for your courage, for stepping up. Beth had a few days before she got to prepare for today. So I will introduce you to Beth Nyerick, part of our community. So Beth holds a bachelor's and master's degree in special education. In 2021, after 36 years in the field, neurological issues made it physically and mentally challenging to fulfill her daily obligations, both home and at work. So she chose to leave the field she dearly loved. Feeling a bit lost and wondering what was next, Spirit guided her to Jennifer's work. Having been a student of A Course in Miracles since 2010, Beth truly resonated with Jennifer's work and soon became part of the Power of Love Ministry Spiritual Counseling Certification Program. She's currently a counselor in training, and energy work is another of Beth's interests. She holds certificates in Reiki and transformational energy healing and is always looking to learn more about the subject. So we're so lucky to have you, Beth. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for reading that through the bobbing heads.
Oh yeah. No problem.
Well, I kind of said that my courage kind of jumped out in front of me when Jennifer asked for somebody to speak. I've said several times that maybe I would present this to Sundays with Spirit. So here I am. A little bit of an expansion on my background. Medical issues did in fact make it very difficult. I've had medical issues all my life, but right around 2014, they began to make things really difficult. And I ended up having extensive neck surgery in May of 2015. I had a laminectomy and fusion of C3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 in my neck. And I never really recovered from that. I had a lot of ups and downs. Things would start to get a lot better, and I'd have 2 weeks, maybe a month, where I'd begin to build strength, and then my body, my system, my neurological system just got overwhelmed and would crash again. And every time it crashed, I seemed to go a little bit further backwards, and things just kept regressing. And that's kind of where my bio picks up. It regressed to the point where I couldn't physically carry through my work duties. I didn't feel like I was doing a good job. I was a special ed. I was working as a vocational support at that time, and I just didn't feel I could support the individuals to the best of my ability. So, and I wasn't thinking clearly, and just all of that. And I was struggling to get things done around the house. So I chose to leave work. And as for many of us, work kind of had become my identity. So I was lost. I didn't know, what was next. Initially, that summer, I really kind of enjoyed the break because I had needed a break. But then I really started to wonder, what's next? Where do I go now? And coincidences. we use that word lightly. Coincidences led me to Jennifer, and I learned about her teachings. I went through Finding Freedom and the Spiritual Counseling Intensive, and immediately knew that where I belonged was in the Spiritual Counseling Certification Program. So there I was. I learned about the Vipassana. And for those of you who don't know, a Vipassana is a retreat, a Buddhist retreat that's offered at retreat centers around the world. And they teach the meditation that Buddha used when he reached enlightenment under the Bodhi tree. This is supposedly what the process that he was doing when that occurred. At the retreat centers, they run a rather intense schedule of 10 hours of meditation a day. Movement is restricted. They limit walking area and they limit physical activity, and they limit your diet. You eat very little, and they feed you things that are supposedly conducive to meditation. And I was really inspired and drawn to make an attempt to do this Vipassana retreat. And that's kind of where the main portion of my talk is going to be focused around. The main focus of my talk is the spiritual truths that came to life for me during my retreat time, and my experience. So I'm going to start with the spiritual truth of trust and faith. Trust and faith opens the door to our good. I've trusted in a vision that I received 25 years ago. And in that vision, I'm physically strong and active and a successful business owner. I've never known, I've always said, I don't know how this is going to happen, but I know it's going to happen. That vision was so true to me. It felt so real that I've just held on to that. And I've held on to the belief that it's going to happen, no matter whether I knew how. And Jennifer always says, how is none of our business, right? So I've let it go. I've let it sit there. I've let it stew. And I've also said, and I'm not even sure where these words come from, but I've caught myself saying them to a number of people. I don't know how, but someday I'm not going to have any metal in my neck. Again, that's a pretty lofty goal, but it feels true. And I've said it over and over again. When the next spiritual truth that comes to mind is all things work together for our good. As I say, the Vipassana retreats, they're free, they're available, and they're very intense. I wasn't able to go to one of the Vipassana retreats. The first thing that I found when I looked into it was that you can't attend the retreat centers unless you're fully vaccinated. Now, I've chosen for a number of reasons, one of which was my neurological status, but I've chosen not to get COVID vaccinated. And as I quickly learned, once I tried to put into place for myself a very rigid schedule, as they have at the retreat centers, I did try to follow that schedule. And I did limit my food intake. But as I very quickly learned, I never could have sustained the physical demands that they place on individuals at the retreat centers. My body just would never have allowed me to follow that schedule. So I did follow a similar schedule, but I modified it greatly for myself. So again, you know, things have a way of working out for our good. Had I been able to go, I probably would have attempted it. But I don't think I would have been successful. Another spiritual truth that I'm focusing on is we always have a choice, love or fear. And throughout my spiritual journey, and in particular in planning for my Vipassana retreat, fear kept coming up and trying to dissuade me, trying to keep me from my focus. But the more I focused on love, the more I was able to help myself and allow myself to move forward. You know, do I go? Don't I go? Where do I go? When I, you know, do I push for a location that was what I felt would be the perfect location? Or do I go with the flow of love and where love was directing me to go? As it worked out, of course, again, and with divine perfection, I couldn't afford what I thought would have been the perfect places, and they weren't available during the time frame that I thought I should go. So with divine timing, I found what ended up being the perfect location and the perfect individuals who ran that location. They honored my desire for silence and to be left alone, and they were very gracious. Another spiritual truth, peace lives within us. On about day 6 of my meditation time and my Vipassana, many of my perceived traumas from early in my life and throughout my life actually began to flash before my eyes, so to speak. They came up in my morning meditation on day 6. And as each one came up and I allowed it to clear, I became more and more peaceful. And I should just backtrack a little bit. Another focus of the Vipassana meditation is just that, to allow sensations and to allow visualizations to come up and go away, to see them with neutral eyes, and to break the habit of reacting to whatever body sensations come up and whatever thoughts and feelings come up, to become more and more neutral to those. And with that neutrality, I think, is where the peace began to expand and envelop my day-to-day living and my day-to-day functioning as I was moving through these 10 days. A couple of situations came up, which again, attempted to disturb my peace, interrupt my retreat. One of which was my little dog needing to go to the vet. And the other of which was a cell phone that chose to die. And being alone, the people who own the place weren't there, being alone in this strange land with my little dog, not really knowing where to go or what to do. I wasn't very comfortable being without a cell phone. So anyhow, these things cropped up. I did take a break to take my dog to the vet, and I did take a break I dropped him off at the vet, and I went to get a new cell phone or get my cell phone repaired. But everything worked out with ease and grace, and I got back to the retreat, my retreat location, and got back into my focus. And I guess the main point there is that all of that, one, happened with ease and grace, and two, with a much greater peace within me than would have ever been prior to experiencing these first 6 days of my retreat. Another spiritual truth: ask or open the door for truth to be revealed. And it is given. It is shown. As my peace increased, it seemed that the door began to open to greater and greater healing. And greater healing did happen. I began to feel little changes occurring in my body, a greater degree of energy, a greater degree of focus, a greater degree of relaxation, better sleep, although that came and went, because with the healing, I was also experiencing moments of greater discomfort. Another spiritual truth: we are surrounded by heavenly helpers, protecting us, guiding us, helping us along our journey. As the door to healing began to open wider, I could actually feel the greater presence of heavenly helpers, angels, guides. That I wasn't really clear on of who they were, but I knew they were there to help. And I could feel body work being done. I could feel things being pulled out of my body, literally, spaces being created love filling in those spaces. And I believe that it was my heavenly helpers, my angels and guides. Yeah. Medical work, medical healing was happening. Another spiritual truth: let go of our attachments, release and let go and let God. We are subject to that which we hold in mind. If we open the door to the infinite possibilities, things can and do change. I spent years believing in physical limitation, believing in medical tests, medical doctors, visit after visit after visit, leaving, crying, because once again I had been told nothing really. Things were the way they were. Nobody had the answers. They couldn't confirm anything. Nothing was changing. Very recently, prior to my Vipassana retreat, which, by the way, was in mid-November, I had begun on my walks and my meditations and whatnot. I had begun to ask questions and questioning the degree of what might be possible. You know, you can bend spoons. Could I bend the metal in my neck? One of the things that I was experiencing was a very rigid gait and a poor balance, all I think because, in part, because the rods in my neck were limiting the natural physical curvature in my spine. And it was affecting my gait, it was affecting my balance. So I started to ask the question, you know, geez, could I bend with my mind the metal in my neck to get that normal physical curve back? And then I began to kind of laugh at myself and say, why limit it there? Why, you know, could I segment those rods in my neck? Could I get some movement back? Anyhow, again, I kind of laughed at myself, but yet part of me was believing that anything was possible, you know? And one of the teachings that comes through in the evening dispensations by a man named S as in Sam, N as in Nancy, Goenka, Goenka. You can find them all on YouTube, all the evening dispensations, discourses. Things are always changing. Your body is always changing. It's always trying to restore its natural state. And one of the things that he said that actually struck me as an insult, and I think it's the word ignorant. He says it's ignorant to be so attached to something, the body, that's always changing. And we do get pretty, I will speak for myself, I had gotten pretty attached to my body and the presence of my body, its physicality. I had also gotten pretty attached to the medical state of my body. You know, I mean, who wouldn't believe once their neck is fused and rods are put in that could change? Who, you know, who wouldn't believe in the permanency of that? And I had gotten pretty attached. You know, I think we take on medical conditions. I'm hydrocephalic, I have a shunt. I had become pretty attached to that too. But as I say, recently I had begun to question all of that. Could I change that? Could I affect that? And there he was telling me that our body's always changing. Our body's always in a state of change. Some other some other spiritual truths. God is always there. All things are possible when one has faith and belief in God. And there is a perfection, I believe, a divine blueprint, which our bodies are always trying to return to. On day 6, things really started to change. I think the meditation, energetically, I had really started to gain some momentum in my meditations, and things really started to unfold. I was tested. I believe it was God that was testing me. That was the response I got when I was asked who the voice was that was talking to me. I was warned by the voice that the pain was going to get very intense. And if I could withstand the intensity of this period of pain, I would never feel pain again. And I felt a very loving energy envelop me from behind, wrapped its arms around me and held me with great intensity. And it said, "Are you ready?" And I said, "Yes." And the pain never really got that intense. It did get a little intense. And then the voice said, "Here it comes. It's going to get really intense. Are you ready?" And I said, "Yes." "Do you trust me?" And I said, "Yes." And I took a deep breath and I was held very tightly. And there was a breath and a release, and the pain was gone. And I thought back on some years since 2015, where I had been pushing my way through life. I had been pretending that everything was fine. I had been believing in the fact that my body was broken and was beyond repair. And I had heard that voice again in my next period of meditation. And it said, acknowledge the pain. Acknowledge the pain. Acknowledge the truth. And so, still in that moment of remembering that pain, the intensity of it, and how it was gone when I completely surrendered to that love energy that was holding me. And I acknowledged the intensity of the pain then and the pain that I had felt at any point in my life. And I also acknowledged the truth. All things are possible when you trust in God. And I acknowledged the truth that I am perfect. I am whole. And I am complete. And when I came out of that meditation, I instantaneously knew that I had received a tremendous healing. a miraculous healing. In that instant, I knew that I had full range of motion in my neck. And I knew that the pain was gone forever. And I jumped up from that meditation and I put the leash on my dog, and he and I went for the longest, quickest walk we had gone on in a long time. I used to, prior to my surgery, jog 3 miles a day with my dogs. Sometimes there were 2 dogs, sometimes there were 4 dogs. I think I went with as many as 5 at one point, but that hadn't been possible since 2015. And to this day, my strength is returning more and more every day. My balance is back. My clarity is back. My clarity of thought. And I have not had any images taken, but I don't believe that there's any metal in my neck, because I have motion, and I haven't been able to turn. In fact, I went to an allergist the other day, and he was talking about his neck pain and fusion, and I said, yeah, and I told him what I had done, and he says, oh, but you have really good motion. And I said, yeah, well, call me crazy, but I went on a retreat, 10-day retreat back in November, and I said, I don't think there's any metal left in my neck. And he said, well, you do have really good range of motion, better than anybody I've seen. So anyhow, that's my story, and that's how I would relate spiritual truth to some of what happened to me. And I'm grateful, extremely grateful for all of the blessings that I've received. And I'm looking forward to sharing, and I'm looking forward to what life has to bring in fulfilling that vision that I was given 25 years ago. Thank you for listening.
Oh, wow. Thank you, Beth. Wow, what a gift you've given us. Thank you. So at this point in the service, if you'd like, we do a little meditation and a healing prayer, whatever spirit guides for me to share. So if you'd like to close your eyes and place your hands on your heart, and just so grateful for this gift that you've given us, Beth, this beautiful, calming vibration, this beautiful testimonial. Just so grateful to sort of swim in it and to acknowledge your courage, and to thank you for your willingness to follow this desire you had to have this retreat and to really do it on your own terms, but to really seek it out and create it for yourself. That took great willingness and courage. Just so grateful for all the spiritual truths that were, all the boxes that were ticked on that experience for you. And really that amazing outcome of that healing happens at the level of the mind. And that your story truly is such a powerful demonstration. And it's powerful and humble at the same time. Just grateful for ourselves to know truly, to receive the truth in this message that healing is possible for all of us at all levels. And perhaps this story is an inspiration for us to find our own ways of communing with Spirit, exploring with Spirit, and unblocking the flow of the gifts of God. And what a gift to let the mind unwind. And just a reminder to carve out time. It doesn't have to be, could be while we're driving, could be everywhere that we can let our mind unwind. Receive the gifts available in the quiet. And the beautiful reminder that our body is always coming back to its wholeness. It's designed to come back to perfect peace. And our mind would do the same. That Spirit is always truly guiding us back to our true nature, our true essence. What a blessing. And the gift that Beth demonstrated, that a willingness is all that's required. And so we're grateful just to rest in the beauty that is this story, that everything you shared, Beth. That the spiritual truths await us, they're right there. It's just our desire to experience them. And a willingness to make time and space to experience them. And the reminder to be not attached to what the healing looks like. So thank you, Beth, for this gift you've offered us, this banquet of spiritual truths. And so, Lisa, whenever it feels like the right moment for you to bless us with a song, take your time.
Born in the middle of the pack, you grow like a wild weed. In the summer rain, you worry you grow too fast and your skin's too thin, 'cause your bones show through when you're alone. You are a majesty, a world of complications you don't understand. You are the sun that burns in the sky, makes you wanna cry, 'cause it's so damn beautiful. Is your heart too big? Does it beat too hard? When you see too much and you cannot find the words, your voice it trembles and your hands shake when you finally say what's on your mind. You are a majesty, a world of complications You don't understand. You are the sun that burns in the sky. Makes you wanna cry, 'cause it's so damn beautiful. You'll find yourself a home where you'll be loved and you'll be known. You will stumble. You pick yourself back up again. And each day will be another pearl connecting you to this soul world as you start to shine without concern. You are a majesty, a world of complications you don't understand. You are the sun that burns in the sky. Makes you wanna cry, 'cause you're so damn beautiful. You are a majesty, a world of complications you don't understand. Oh, you are the sun that burns in the sky. Makes you wanna cry, 'cause you're so damn beautiful.
Love that. Thank you. I love that song. Okay, sorry, I'm just doing multiple things. Okay, well, thank you so much. What a beautiful offering we've had today. How blessed are we? I feel so blessed. And now in our service, this is the time where we have the opportunity to go into small breakout rooms. And in the breakout room, just having the opportunity to share what spoke to you. And that always takes our insights just to the next step. So it's an opportunity. If you don't wish to share, you can always just hold space. We just ask that people share the time equally, allowing everyone to have an opportunity to share. So we'll have 15 minutes. And so just do a little math in your head, however many people in your group give her about that much time. So I am going to send everybody. And the last piece is that we listen with compassion. We refrain from advice giving. We're just there to hold space for each other. Okay. So I'm going to open the rooms and see how this goes. This is where it will be. I will need just a little bit of patience for myself. And so get people. Okay, this is going good so far. So far, so good. Okay, yes, thank you. Not so hard there. All right, well, thank you, everyone. Faith, if I could start with you, what would you like to share from the service today?
Wow, it was I was really moved today. Moved by not only your journey, Beth, your honesty in sharing it, and the authenticity of what you've been through, and of course, along with Lisa's music, it seemed to be this such authentic, beautiful fit together today. And this Lisa talking about in her song, the complication, it seems like, we're like, we have all of these things going on, and we can be so attached to them, and yet we're not any of these things, any of these complications that we decide that we are. And I felt that in your talk. What a beautiful journey And I see that flexibility in your neck and where you are right now. And it's such an amazing thing to have experienced this release of rigidity. And isn't it interesting that I use that word? It's like that, how we get so rigid in our life. And then when we release that idea that things have to be a certain way, or that we have this attachment to something, certainly in my own life, I've done that many, many times, attached to how my business is going to look like, how what my friends should be doing, of course, my family, everything. And the wonderful thing about what this share for me, Beth, not only was your journey just this beautiful, amazing journey that you took us on today, but how you allowed us to, the insight that you gained. Now, I don't know if you were having that insight as you were going along about the spiritual truths that were being revealed and how they were being revealed in your life, and how they were part of this journey, or if it's something you put together afterwards and realize, oh, this was that universal truth that I was going through. And sometimes that's what happens. I know that I go through things in my life. I was very ill for quite about 3 or 4 years because I had mold poisoning in my body, and I didn't know what it was, but I knew that I would be healed from it eventually. And it was a lot of spiritual journey, of being with it and not letting it be me, if that makes sense to you. I'm interested in the part where you said that, your inner voice said the healing, you can have this healing, the pain will be intense. And are you ready for that? And you said yes. I'd be interested in hearing about that a little bit. If it was so, that feeling that I'm willing to experience this pain. I work a lot with emotions and using voice to open up our body and our feelings and our emotions. And certainly when we sing or when we use our voice in a big way, that we are expressing those feelings. But it is, most of us feel that if we allowed ourselves to fully feel the pain or any of the feelings that we're feeling, whether it's physical pain or emotional pain, that we won't be able to withstand it, that it will be too much. And I believe it's exactly the opposite, that we have so much support and so much love. The angels that you talked about, your guides guiding you through that. Yeah. I really would love to hear a little bit more about that. I thought that was amazing part of your talk.
I can put my contact information in the chat and we can maybe.
Oh, that would be great. Thank you. And thank you for this message today, and Lisa, for your beautiful songs. Quite moved. I don't really, it's hard for me to put into words a little bit about what I'm feeling, but I was very moved today. And I can't wait to hear more of your sharing in our community, Beth.
Yeah, I had that feeling, Beth, that it would be like cool Q&A follow-up, because you stirred up a lot. And I think people, you just laid out this whole table, and it's like, oh, they want to learn more. But yeah.
Well, and the spiritual truths, it was funny because they were things that I've said the words many times for all those things. And I thought I believed them, but I didn't really believe. I mean, I didn't really believe them until I experienced them, until I went through this whole process. And it was like, now it's part of me, now I really believe it. It's not just, I'm not just giving it lip service, So that was the interesting part for me. And thank you for the music, because they did go quite well.
Yes, thank you. Lisa, would you like to share anything from your experience?
Yeah,
We have two Lisas. Go
I
ahead.
wasn't sure who you meant.
I know, and I didn't even register that.
So but I'm happy to wait my turn.
Go for it. Go start us off,
Yeah.
Lisa J.
No, I really appreciate your beautiful message, Beth, today. Was very calming, as Angela said, and so very inspiring. I really appreciate that you shared so much about your Vipassana and how you sort of made it work for you. Um, yeah, I've had my own health journey and challenges with ups and downs and learning all along the way. So I'm very grateful for this community and Jennifer's classes as a support, and to remember, who I really am. I'm a spirit having this illusory experience of having a body, like you said, not let the illness be you, but no, you are the one that was having this experience. Anyway, yeah, it was very inspiring, very touching, and I appreciate that you shared those things. Um, I've experienced a lot of grace and had a lot of growing and learning in having trust and faith in spirit, because I intend to listen to spirit. I don't always understand my intuition, or I'm still developing my intuition and connection with spirit. But as you really expressed beautifully, it is a process. And we're carried, and we have a lot of support in the invisible too. So there was just a lot to your message, and thank you so much for sharing that and being brave enough to share today. That helps everyone. Thank you. And Angela, very beautiful reflection on what Beth said. It really was a beautiful response or prayer that you said. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. Lisa J. Lisa Richards, would you like to share?
Thank you. I feel really grateful just to be here with all of you in this space. And, it just reminds me that we all, that there's a common experience and a common language. Even though we might be walking different paths, the paths connect. And I've actually done Vipassana twice, and yeah, it was super hard. Uh, and yeah, I think, I remember that was the first time when after I came out of that first Vipassana, that I had any stillness inside my brain. Like I could almost see each individual thought. And I had never experienced that. And I could feel like the wind on the air on my skin. And I was intrigued by the way the leaves would move. Just incredibly present, and just, discovering what it means to be in my body and be in the world. And I think, that's the challenge. That's the big challenge, is to be present with whatever is going on, be it pain or happiness or sadness, but to just continue to show up for life and trust that there's a bigger picture, and that my job is just to keep showing up and to stay open and not to shut down. And yeah, I've had so many experiences in my life where I just learned that lesson over and over again. So thank you so much, everybody, and I feel honored to be able to share a little bit as well. So
Beautiful. Thank you, Lisa. I saw you at the beginning of the service when she was mentioning Vipassana. Like, yeah, I know, I'm familiar. Yeah. Beth, do you want to have any other further comments? Anything you want to share?
Well, I just think in response to Faith's question,
Yes, well, my primary is the release technique, and you can check that out at releasetechnique.com, which is the same as the Sedona method, sedona.com. Both.
Sorry. Okay.
no, thanks. I mean, the quick, simple answer is just one, that there was an increasing amount of trust and faith building throughout the day, throughout the 10 days. I mean, this was day 6. So, and I think the other piece is that it was clear, it was clear what was happening. It was clear who it was. It was clear that it was to be trusted. It was just all very clear that it was going to be okay. And yeah, and yeah, it was like, could I say no? You know, how dare I say, you know, I guess was kind of, the thought never crossed my mind, really. Yeah. And I think I guess I knew I was there for a reason, and so why not? What the hell? You know. But it was intense. I was bored actually after the first 2 days. I wanted to go. I was like, I didn't know what to do with myself. I was bored. I wanted to leave, but then as things started to happen, as I began to feel the changes, I became intrigued by what the possibilities were. So blessed, very blessed. And you know, nobody can ever tell me again that something's impossible. So, I just won't believe it.
So fortunate. And
Somebody said the other day, practice makes permanent. By either good habits or bad habits, practice makes permanent. And I said, you know what? I don't believe that for 1 minute. Nothing's permanent. Everything's always changing. Sorry, so I interrupt you.
oh, good. That's a good one. I'm glad you got that on the recording. Yeah, because when you shared that about everything's changing as being part of that teaching, I could hear that a million times, but when I heard it today, I was like, okay, so in my life with the holy relationship of the marriage, you know, my marriage, it's like, okay, that's ever changing. I don't know if I'm trying to pin it down. It was just very helpful. And that's the beauty of continuously hearing the spiritual truths are going to keep touching us because we keep changing, and then we're ready for something else. And I think there's that aspect of our personality that doesn't like that, but it makes it such a ride.
It's the nature of nature to change.
Okay, so we have people coming back in just a few seconds, but yeah, I just want to say that I know this meditation teacher in my town. I've run into him over the years, like a couple times, and I just saw him at a stop sign the other day, like just a couple days ago. And he's a driver that you would definitely know. He's a meditation teacher because there he is at a stop sign, and he was first. But he's like, what's going on? You know, like, what would you like? And I was like, go ahead. But it was like the slowest exchange of a stop sign I've ever had. And I was like, oh, I know. Oh, he's a meditation teacher. He's so present. Okay. All right. We're all back. Well, welcome back. It's good to see everyone and faces I haven't seen before because my view, I have to change back, I guess. All right. Well, hopefully you had a fruitful breakout. And if there's anything that you are intending, whether it's a Vipassana, now in Masterful Living, we're encouraged to do a Vipassana day, one day, and just to like dip your toe in the water of the experience. And that will be coming for anyone who's new to Masterful Living this year. It's a suggestion, which I'm going to admit I've never did it. Okay. Not yet. Now I have a child and it's like, when do you do it? I don't know, but we could have half days, we can have full days. There's lots of opportunity. Beth so beautifully demonstrated it doesn't have to even be you can make it happen yourself. So if there's anything you'd like to declare in the chat that we can hold for you, or an insight that you had, something that moved you, that's just an opportunity that's there for you. So we are going to have a few announcements. I'll give a few announcements for the ministry. We'll let Lisa Richards give any announcements, Beth. We'll have another song. We'll have a closing prayer, and then we'll be on our way. Okay, so we always remind everyone that to support the Sundays with Spirit, if you'd like to make an offering to support this to happen, to pay the staff, and we tithe the speakers and the musicians. I'm just going to put that link in the chat if you'd like to make a contribution to support Sundays with Spirit. Another way to do that is to sign up for our inspirational text messages. We have Course in Miracles text that you can get. They just pop up, little reminders, and you can make a donation to receive them. And so we have Course in Miracles text messages, and then also quotes from Jennifer's prayers. So a link for those text messages there. And we also have a class by Kieran J. Okay. And I'm going to put that link in the chat. And this class upcoming is Kieran J is offering it specifically to therapists or counselors, using A Course in Miracles to support your work as a counselor or a therapist. So that link is in the chat as well. And I believe that is the only announcement. Those are the announcements we have from the ministry, because we have just closed Masterful Living. So we're kind of moving into a quieter time. And so, Lisa, I'll bring you on if you would like to share more of your work or where people can find your music and any announcements you have.
Yeah, I have a website, and I think through my website you can find pretty much everything that I do. I do teach singing and songwriting on Zoom and in person. I live in Australia, but I have people in other places. And my website is lisarichardsmusic.com. And if you go there, you know there are lots of links to music and all kinds of things. So yeah, so that's the gateway.
Okay, and just before you share your song, Beth, do you have any announcements? Would you like to, I'll just add you here if you'd like to share anything.
I was wondering if it was okay to put my email in the chat so that people can contact me if they have questions.
You have earned that right, my sister. Yes, and if you have further follow-up questions for Beth, anything that intrigued you, you want to learn more about her experience, and Beth is a counselor in training in our program.
And my bio will be up on the site soon.
Excellent.
I just finished it. So.
All right, thank you, Beth. There it is. Okay, I'm gonna add that to the whole group. Okay. And now Lisa, one more song.
Yes. And I also wanted to say I'm actually in America and I'm playing shows. So I
Okay.
might be coming to a place near you. I'm in New York City right now, but all the shows are on my calendar. So yeah, so go there, and if you might
Exciting.
like to come and hang out in person. Okay, so I will take us out. Thank you so much, everybody, once again. It's been a real honor. I'm a pebble in a slingshot, launching into space, flying through the air. I can almost taste it on my tongue. A grand celebration, I have finally won. But nothing really changes. I barely see the target painted on the wall. A tiny speck of light, nothing more. I don't see the goalpost, but I still kick the ball. With this tiny speck of light, I know I won't fall. I am growing taller every single day in this game of snakes and ladders. Anyone can play, no place to settle. Lay claim to the ground, so I'll be a hero wherever I land. I barely see the target painted on the wall. Tiny speck of light, nothing more. I don't see the goalpost, but I still kick the ball. With this tiny speck of light, I know I won't fall. I am climbing mountains, breaking down walls, shattering the ceiling, settling the score for all the flowers blooming late in the fall. The summertime babies still learning to crawl. I barely see the target painted on the wall. It's a tiny speck of light, nothing more. And I don't see the goalpost, but I still kick the ball. With this tiny speck of light, I know I won't fall. I know I won't fall. I know I won't fall. Ooh, ooh.
Thank you, Lisa. I could listen to you all day. I love it. Thank you so much for being here. So fun. Beautiful. Okay, Lisa J. You take us home with our prayer, please.
We're so grateful for this beautiful Sunday with Spirit. We are all indeed one. We're so thankful for Angela, our host and pilot, leading us and bringing us all together today. For Beth's wonderful healing message, for her very personal sharing of her healing journey and her willingness to have trust and faith in love, in Spirit. We're very thankful also for Lisa's beautiful music and for sharing her humor and her wisdom through her songs. Thank you to everyone who came today or who will listen later to the replay. We're so thankful for your presence, for the Power of Love Ministry. We're blessing Jennifer Hadley and all that she does. We're remembering our holiness and our oneness, and we share all the benefits with everyone because we're one with them. We let it be. So it is. Amen. Thank you.
Amen. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, everyone. We want to also thank GJ behind the scenes, everybody who made this possible. Have a beautiful day. Bye for now. Take care.
Bye bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Goodbye.